All right, welcome back to Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, if you're yet to download the News Central mobile app on Play Store and iOS Store, please hurry and do that right away so you can stay in touch with the latest in terms of news, sports, politics, and more on the go. Now, when it comes to everyone and everybody in terms of the situation of your well-being, everyone at some point feels worried, anxious, and down from time to time. And when this happens, some call it mental illness. But is that really what mental illness is all about? How can one really identify and protect their mental health? Well, our guest today is Dr. Memunat Kadiri. Now, she's a multiple award-winning mental health physician, an advocate, and a coach. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central.
Good morning.
Right. Now, when we hear mental health, there are so many things that come to mind. But let's start by understanding what exactly is mental health.
So the beauty about this is that mental health is what everybody has. It's mental illness that we do not all have.
Ooh.
Yes. So mental health is intrinsically linked with our physical health. So, but when we talk about health, a lot of people focus on the physical as against the mental.
Right.
And that's where the stigma that leads to discrimination comes in.
Right.
So mental health, according to the World Health Organization, is the ability for an individual, one, to realize your potentials in life, the ability to deal with the day-to-day hassles of life, the ability to work productively and fruitfully, and last but not the least, the ability to give back to the society. How beautiful such a definition. It just means that we all have mental health.
We do.
So why do we stigmatize it when you hear the word mental? You don't even wait to hear the word health or illness.
Well, I mean, a lot of times in Africa, in Nigeria, when you hear mental, a lot of people always link it to kolo.
Yeah.
So there's this kolo mental situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, well, when you just talked about World Health Organization now World Health Organization also has come to give us some statistics. Now, they've come out to say when it comes to mental illness in Nigeria or with Nigerians, the number goes between 40 million to 60 million Nigerians who are suffering from mental illness.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about mental illness. So, what are the different types of illness?
So, there are different types of mental illnesses that start from, so it can, when you look at a human being, it's from head down. So, when we are breaking it down, we also look from head down. And we are using what we call International Classification of Diseases, ICD-10 and 11. That's what we use. The Americans use what we call DSM-5. And that will tell us that people that have dementia, they are put under mental illnesses.
Categorized under mental illnesses.
Mental and behavioral disorders due to alcohol abuse, marijuana, they are under mental health illnesses. Then mood disorders. That's why we have the depression, bipolar affective disorders. Then we have what we call psychotic disorders, where we have schizophrenia. So there are so many depending. It's like this, the book is like this. So I'm just trying to flip through the different. So there are different types of mental illnesses, even in children. So when you see a child having depression, it's real, yes, because half of all mental illnesses start before the age of 14.
Before the age of
14 and two-thirds before the age of 24.
Oh, Lisa,
according to the World Health Organization.
Oh, Lisa, did you just hear that?
Yeah.
Before the age of 14 and in some peculiar cases, before the age of 24.
It happens. It does happen. It's quite a heartbreaking scenario, but that's the reality. I'm glad we have Dr. Memunat here because I haven't had to undergo therapy myself in the past for some issues. Mental health can be for anybody, but I want to ask Dr. Memunat, how do we notice these symptoms when it does start? Where do we begin?
It's always good. Anytime I have to share anywhere in the world, I always say, what is that one thing you notice? And that one thing you notice is change. It's when there is a change from you, who you were yesterday, to who you are today, and may escalate tomorrow. And hence, you will find out that there are many symptoms. And when you look at the many symptoms, when we talk about mental illnesses, it affects the way you think, the way you act, and the way you behave. And so, when you look at what has changed in your appetite, changes in appetite, and it's not necessarily not eating well, sometimes comfort eating, emotional eating. So you see your friend who comes to you and say, I'm stressed, I think I'm depressed. Look at you that you have even increased in weight and you're looking fine. And They may be doing comfort eating. So changes in appetite, changes in sleep.
All right, Dr.
I don't know, Lagosians, we are there. Changes
right,
in sleep, not sleeping well, or even excessive sleeping. Then easily tired, fatigue, poor concentration and attention. And it can escalate to when people start, feeling hopeless and worthless and helpless. That's where suicide comes in.
Wow.
And in extreme of cases, they start hearing voices. They start seeing strange things. They start believing everybody is against them. That's what we call hallucinations, delusions, and bizarre
This is
behavior.
way deeper than I used to think before. I mean,
So mental illnesses are mild, moderate, and severe. So in the severe cases, a pastor can come and say he's hearing voices, and the congregation will actually believe it's the voice of God. It takes an expert to delineate hallucination from the voice of God.
wow. I mean, Olisa, are you hearing what I'm hearing?
Yes, because the figures, do stand out, because we hear that 1 in every 10 people in Nigeria, even in Lagos, go through one form of mental health disorder or another. So which means that even if we try to deny it or try to, hide it, it goes on. But I need to ask Dr. Maimuna, if the figures are starting, why is it hard for people to, admit it? Why is this, this bit of a bridge that we can't really cross? It says that when you now go and seek help, that you are the brave ones. So why do we have that, such notions?
And that's why this is important. Media and advocacy. So media is very paramount in advocacy, and always talking about this, being an expert. Like yesterday, I was in the hotel and we talked about this again, and we will always continue to be able to overcome this stigma and discrimination attached to people living with mental illnesses, including their families. So it's the stigma and discrimination that's making people not to come out. Once we begin to start normalizing mental health conversations by building a culture of compassion, people will speak up, speak out. It will encourage help-seeking behavior. We'll be able to listen to people non-judgmentally. We wouldn't criticize them. We wouldn't be apostolic towards them. Our religion will be love. So we'll develop more empathy towards people, kinder to ourselves and kinder to people. These are the reasons why people are not talking. Because when they say they want to, people don't, I'm stigmatized. Dr. May is my friend. They wouldn't say Dr. May is their doctor. So these are some of the things. People will not want to ordinarily come out and say, I'm their friend, I'm their doctor, because the moment you say Dr. May is your doctor, it means that something is wrong somewhere. So these are the things that are not making us. But again, even the facilities we have in Nigeria are not enough. We have 8 standalone mental health institutions in Nigeria. We have them in federal medical centers, not all of them. We have them in teaching hospitals because we have to train doctors. There is 1 psychiatrist to 1 million Nigerians. And more, there's an exodus of doctors out of the country as it is right now.
I totally agree with you on that. I mean, we have seen those stories in the papers. I mean, this week, it's been one of the stories that has been trending. But now looking at the situation, you have just come out to say we need to stop stigmatization when it comes to mental illness. But how can we draw the fine line between someone who is genuinely mentally down from someone who is acting it to gain empathy or to gain attention or to gain popularity or some form of fame? How do we draw the line? Cloud chasing.
And we have quite a number of them. I'm dealing with my mental health. Please, you are not allowing the people that truly need these services to get these services. Stop it. It's not a fancy word for you to say, oh, I'm depressed. You aren't depressed, you are sad. Sadness is not synonymous with depression. Sadness is a symptom of depression, and it's not sadness of a day or 2. It has to be at least minimum of 2 weeks, ongoing, persistent. So how do you even delineate? It's our mental health. Mental health is not static, it's dynamic. So even if you have somebody who is going to face the law today or face the court today, you have to ask this person, check the mental health as of yesterday and today, because yesterday's own may be different for what it is today. It's fleeting. So you can't tell somebody because he has complained about his status today and you can't maintain it. When somebody doesn't have a mental health issue, it just takes an expert to just ask 1, 2, 3 probing questions. I know that this person is faking it.
Wow, Dr. Maimunat, you have said so much, and we can see the compassion and the passion with which you're going about with this situation. It is very important that everybody checks their mental state and the mental health. It is, especially for Lagosians, people like us who live in Lagos, and we know the chaos that Lagos can be. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Breakfast Central. And Dr. Memunat Kadiri, thank you for coming on the show.